The following program is a production of Naleo TV.
Aloha, welcome to another episode of Dive In. We're here down in Kahaluʻu Bay. We'll be jumping into the water, checking out some nice coral reefs that's been growing, and also learning a lot of lessons from Kahaluʻu Bay Education Center, a program of Kohala Center, as they do Reef Teach here, just to help educate the entire community about how to be safe, how to preserve the ocean, and how to make it better for the next generation. All right, well, let's go dive in.
Aloha, my name is Auntie Cindy Punihaole, and I am excited to introduce you to coral reefs of the rainforest of the ocean. Here at Kahaluʻu Bay, we have some of the largest, oldest remaining nearshore mounding coral colonies along the Kona coast. For centuries, these foundational species have protected coastlines and sustained thousands of organisms. But today, coral reefs are being threatened by human impacts: pollution, pollutants entering the ocean, chemicals in sunscreen, and climate change. These chronic stressors have caused many corals to decline and even die. The good news is we are observing many small new corals growing on the reef floor. These corals are resilient and give us hope for the future of Kahaluʻu Bay. But we must do our part to take care of them so they can continue to support marine life and us. Our mission at Kahaluʻu Bay Education Center is to protect and malama the bay through education. Kahalu's reef teaches us simple things we can all do to care for the coral here and around the world. Sometimes, and most times, when visitors are in the water snorkeling, they tend to think of coral as rocks because they look like colored rocks, but really they are living animals. And if we stand or touch them, they may die. That is why we ask our visitors to please float when they are in our bay, because today we have hundreds of baby corals, juvenile corals too, that are growing in the bay, and we need to give them time to grow and get stronger so we can once again look at a very the regenerative coral reef. First of all, we need to have programs in place that educate our visitors about what we call a vahipana. Kahalu'u is a vahipana, a sacred and storied place. I truly believe by engaging and educating them with aloha, they will become part of the solution. With the University of Hawaii Sea Grant asking the Kohala Center, our organization, to help build this Reef Teach program, and that was back in 2006, we were able to create a volunteer force that now is over 400 fold. And these are our volunteers who are passionate about the bay and about taking care of it. For me, they are my treasures. They are the diamonds. Without them, we wouldn't have a program. It is important that we respect our volunteers because they are the ones that give up their precious time to come and educate our visitors on proper reef etiquette and how important it is for our future generations. If someone is educated and understand the importance of a place, they will be very respectful. Our volunteers are here every day. We may have 1, 2, or 3, sometimes 4 volunteers at a given time. But on the bigger scale, we have hundreds of volunteers that live around the world. But I think the common goal is taking care of Kahaluʻu Bay. They have fallen in love with the place, and they feel that with their input, they can make a difference.
My name is Vince Carr. I'm a volunteer for Reef Teach since the year 2006. We've had a presence on this beach since the year 2000. It's been different forms. We've got tents on the beach. We had a truck here. We've got a lot of different things. We try to have people here all day, basically from about 8 to 3 now. We have close to 100 volunteers. This little park gets 400,000 visitors a year. So a lot of new people here every day. When visitors come here to Kahaluʻu Bay, first we want them to have a safe experience. We want them to have an experience that doesn't invade the marine life or injure the corals or things like that. This is a very unusual environment. Our fish population is unusual. 25% of our fish species don't exist anywhere else in the world. And we want them to learn something about what they're seeing while they're out there.
I got involved with Reef Teach a couple of years ago because I was watching one of the other reef teachers trying to keep a horde of tourists away from a turtle, and it looked like he was really shoveling against the tide. So when they came up with this pilot program to start putting some signage in front of the papa, I immediately got in touch with Kathleen Clark and said, sign me up, I want to be a volunteer. So then I found that there were other things I could do too, because I had, good hand skills, and, my career set me up to do fun things like this. So I can fix things. So I got to build the signs that we were able, they got some money to buy some signage, and I built the signs for those. Because getting that message to folks that there's a safer way to go in, because if you have safety, you're gonna have fun. And nobody wants to leave with cuts and bruises and stuff like that. Auntie Cindy showed me, a year or so ago, we're sitting out there, and she said, we just have to keep showing love. Because if we show people love, they'll listen and they'll want to be educated, because people want to learn the right ways. And so that's really cool. It's part of being a parent, the same thing. So it's kind of, passing on from one generation to the next.
I've been snorkeling around the islands for the last 2-3 years, and I realized that each bay actually has different kinds of fish. A lot of the fish actually live for a number of years. So it's the same fish people are actually seeing it just makes it a little bit more personal for them. Yeah, there's been a little bit of change actually. Recently, things are actually looking a little better. There's a few more fish. The coral's looking a little nicer. To be honest, it's mostly because of COVID. When we had the shutdown, so many fewer people here, less people in the water, the bay actually got a nice chance to heal. And really has done a good job. You see coral is looking better. There's been a lot of coral spawning. I've been out here twice this year and actually seen the urchins spawning as well. So there's new urchins growing, and they're really important to help keep the algae down so the coral grows good. Oh, this is actually a guidebook that I put together specifically for this bay. What I've done with this particular guide here is basically all the fish pictures are taken actually in this bay. This is one of the best places, particularly for photographers, for getting pictures, because the water is so shallow and so clear, you can get great pictures even if you don't know what you're doing. The key is just to be very quiet and very stealthy when you're in the water. If you make a lot of splash, fish scared off. The best way to find a lot is just to swim really gently, not swim too hard at all, and just lay there and float, and just see what comes by. I think if you're out, anywhere where you're going around the islands, the key is just not to touch, keep an eye out, watch, and take pictures and not get memories, but don't leave any footprints, don't stand on anything, keep your hands to yourself.
Sunscreen over the last 3 years has become a very important issue. We started encouraging people to use mineral-based sunscreens, and then eventually we brought in our own dispensers so that we have sunscreen available for them for free, which helped a lot. And in that period of time, we've cut down the chemicals in the water by over 90%.
If you need some good sunscreen, think zinc. Or as one of the other guys says, use your cranium, spread titanium.
Talk about safe entry into the water so that people can enter in a place where they're not going to injure themselves or damage any corals or any other things. And we're also encouraging people that when they're in the bay to always float or swim, so they're not putting their feet down. The county was kind enough to close this beach for 6 days on the full moon in May when the corals were spawning. So we have new corals that are starting to grow. We're trying to give them a good chance to do it.
Somebody told me when I got here that I needed to be a part of the community, and this is, I found to be the best way for me to be a part of something.
Ever since I retired, I needed something different to do, and this has been it. It's been real fun.
Well, we talk about that all the time, that we're like a family, but we are all different. We come from all different backgrounds, from all parts of the country and things like that. But we all have one thing in common: we love the ocean, and we want to do everything we can so that future generations can enjoy it. Just that we're always looking for more volunteers. So anybody's more than welcome to come on down. We have an online training course. We'll take you in the water and show you around, and then you can start working with our tools here. We have books and things that we show, photos that we show people when they come out of the water. So we have all the tools for you. We just need more people. It's important for people to know a little bit about where they're going. This is a very unusual environment. Our fish population is unusual. 25% of our fish species don't exist anywhere else in the world. So there are things you should know about Hawaii, know about the culture, know about the people before you come. And that's something we're moving more in that direction to help people be aware of. Because, people come for a week, they might never been in the ocean, ever. So we try to help them with that as best we can.
I'm here to talk about the papa. It's formed by a large shelf of lava and it is the area that is in between the tides. So it's a harsh and dynamic environment. Things like corals don't grow very well here, but there are a lot of other things that grow here. Limu, another name for algae, is basically the building block, one of the primary producers here, and it provides oxygen for the whole environment and food for many creatures. Crustaceans, mollusks, snails, barnacles, and mussels. All kinds of invertebrates live here, and they are probably the most numerous inhabitant of the tidal flat. Perhaps the most famous resident, or the most beloved resident of the tidal flat, is the honu, the Hawaiian green sea turtle. It likes to come to the tidal flat because it likes to eat limu, and it eats the limu, the algae that grow on the rocks here. The honu also occasionally likes to haul out and rest when it is low tide and the rocks are exposed. Here you'll see big schools of manini, the convict tangs, the mamo, the Hawaiian or the Indo-Pacific sargents, and also the famous yellow tangs, the lauipala. So because there are so many people that use this tidal flat, and because it's so important to so many other creatures, we ask people here at Kahaluʻu Bay to stay off this flat. Allow the limu and the crustaceans to thrive, and allow the honu a place to rest and feed. So we're going to go snorkeling. A couple tips about reef etiquette, how to enjoy the reef and also keep it safe. Kahaluʻu Bay is awesome. It's shallow, which means you get a good close-up look of coral and all the wonders that are there. So we ask that people not stand in the sensitive habitat. And the sensitive habitat is out beyond the black sand. In the black sand, it's okay to stand. We'll make sure all our gear works before we get out there. And then once we pass that border, we get into more sensitive habitat where we're finding baby corals growing. So we ask everyone to float. We'll do a loop and visit different habitats, and we will get in right in front of the guard tower. There's a little channel, and the reef is formed of basalt or lava rock, and it's slippery, and it's also very sharp. So this is the safest way in and out. Yeah, we had a great snorkel earlier today. Some of the highlights, we saw some large Evermanii colonies. That is the large mounding coral that is purple. And Kahaluʻu Bay has one of the greatest communities of Evermanii coral here. And they also, as they die and age, they form little nurseries, which Kahaluʻu is also famous for, where keiki fish of all species can grow and thrive in that very protected area. We also saw some baby corals growing. One of the reasons we ask people not to put their feet down outside the buoys is because we are finding baby corals of all species growing on rubble, on sand, on shelves, and it's great that they're coming back.
So what equipment do you need to view this underwater world? At the minimum, you need a mask so that you can see clearly underwater. Next, you need a snorkel. so that you can breathe while your face is underwater. Then you can add a pair of fins to increase your mobility. If you're swimming in shallow water, you want to get as short a fin as possible. The shallower the water, the shorter the fin. Long fins are for deep water swims. You may want to consider some flotation, such as a life jacket, belt, or a pool noodle to make you feel confident and comfortable in the water. Finally, rash guards and wetsuits can help protect you from the sun's rays and keep you warm. Whether you buy or rent your equipment, it is important to make sure that everything fits properly so that you will be safe and comfortable while snorkeling. Remember, we're all visitors to this beautiful underwater world, and we always want to be good guests. Avoid excessive splashing, yelling, or anything that will bother marine animals. Respect marine life and your fellow snorkelers by giving them plenty of space.
I also encourage people to take a look around. Don't turn your back on the ocean. See what's going on with the ocean. Do you hear the waves roaring over the breakwater? Are there lifeguards? Check in with them. Ask them what the conditions are. Take a look at the people who are going in and out of the water. If it looks like they're having a tough time, look for the folks who are having an easy time going in and out of the water, because that's where the safest way in and out. So another thing I like to tell people, if you add 30 minutes to anything when you're on the island, it's going to be real smooth and easy. You're going to have a good time. You're not going to be pressured, and you're in paradise. Enjoy it while you're here.
サンゴは海にとって重要不可欠な生き物です。動物ですが、植物と同じように二酸化炭素を吸収し、酸素を作り出しています。大きな石のように見えますが、実は小さなサンゴの集合体動物です。いわば大きな塊はたくさんのサンゴが住む大きなマンションのようなものです。コナ沿岸に多く住むカリフラワーサンゴ。年に数回、さまざまな条件が揃った時に一斉産卵をします。彼らは自然のサイクルを知っていて、それはとても神秘的です。海に放出された赤ちゃんサンゴたちは、岩や海底に落ち着くところから生活を始めます。また、サンゴの成長は非常にゆっくりで長い年月を必要とします。ですから、サンゴの上に立ったり、少しフィンで引っ掛けたりするだけで、彼らの家を破壊し、たくさんのサンゴたちを一気に傷つけてしまうのです。そしてサンゴは水温や水質に大きく左右されるとても繊細な生き物です。皆さんがご自身を守るために使用する日焼け止めクリームには十分ご注意ください。一般的な日焼け止めクリームに含まれる化学物質はサンゴの DNA や幼虫を傷つけ発火をもたらします。それは海の生き物たち全員に悪影響を及ぼすということです。日焼け止めクリームをご使用される際には、肌に優しい、サンゴに優しいなどの言葉に惑わされることなく、成分はミネラルだけであることを確認してください。日本語では酸化亜鉛、二酸化チタンと表記されているでしょう。でもあなたにとっても海にとっても最善の日焼け防止の方法は、紫外線を遮るシャツを着ていただくことです。きれいで健やかな海を維持することは私たち人間の責任です。ここハワイや世界のサンゴ礁、また海の生き物を守るために私たちができる簡単なこと、それは泳いでいる時やシュノーケル中は常に浮いて立たない、日焼けを防ぐにはミネラル成分の日焼け止めクリームを使う、またはシャツなどを着る、そして海の生き物には近づきすぎない。これらを実行していただければ、今だけでなく彼らはこの先もずっと私たちを楽しませてくれることでしょう。さあどうぞ、たくさんの魚たちと存分に素敵な時間をお過ごしください。ありがとうございました。マハロー。
If you want to get more information or become a volunteer with Kahaluʻu Bay Center, visit their website at kohalacenter.org/KBEC/Reef Teach. Or just take a look around where you live. Dive in and explore. See if there are reefs near you that may need your help to preserve at Malama. There are so many beautiful places around Hawaii Island, and without your help, those places may not live on for the next generation. So get up, discover, observe, and dive in. What a wonderful day we had here at Kahaluʻu Bay. Mahalo to Cindy Punihale and the Reef Teach volunteers for educating us in reef preservation and ocean safety. Until our next dive-in episode, you guys take care, stay safe, and aloha.
The preceding program was a production of Naleo TV.